Anakin 9.5 beats the show, man. Anakin 9.5 beats the morning show. Let's get it. Today we are going to talk about, of course, you see the title, young men don't subscribe to the streets. I do not subscribe to the streets. It's not good.
Anakin Latidos.
It's Anakin 9.5 beats the show. Right. And I just want to say to all of my subscribers, I really appreciate everything you do as far as comments and hitting the like button. We have reached the 2,000 mark for subscribers. It's a blessing. Believe that. Thank you, and thank you. But other than that, let's get to it. Last night, I literally sat there and watched you know what I mean? And Gilly talk on his podcast. Shout out to Gilly to the $1 million worth of game. Let's give it up for that. Move it over a little bit. And shout out to Club Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay. And it really inspired me to do this live this morning because I feel like it's really, really, really important that we talk about the young men of this generation. You know what I'm saying? From 30 all the way down to 5 years old. And I just want to give you my philosophy and my opinion on the whole situation when it comes to young men these days, man. And if y'all are on my live or you get to my live, I hope you really pay attention and you listen. Please listen. Okay. So you know that Gilly's son passed away. Cheese. And from my understanding, listening to Gilly himself and not going to the other YouTube channels, which I did when it happened. I did go to the other YouTube channels. I did watch the news a little bit, even though I don't watch the news. I needed to hear from Gilly himself. And if you go to Club Shay Shay, he pretty much breaks it down for about 5 to 10 minutes of what happened from his perspective. Because there's always three sides to a story. It's the truth, the unheard, and then it's the whole thing put together when you put everything together, all right? It also can be the truth, and it could be a lie. And then it could be some bullshit. You know what I mean? But allegedly, Gilly got on there on Club Shay Shay and said that his son was at the wrong place in the wrong time. It wasn't that his son was doing something out the way. He didn't specify or speculate that his son was out there, gang banging or whatever you want to call it. He was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. And I hope when it comes to all the young men out there that's really not about that life, that you could be at the wrong place and at the wrong time. You did? And where he was at, his location, was at a block, on the block, where he's not even, you know what I'm saying? He never stayed there. He didn't even live on that block. Maybe he was just going to go see somebody that he knew. And then what happened? These young guys spent the block and seen somebody in that location. And they just, pretty much started shooting. Okay? So for all the young guys out there that's not really out there thugging, that's really not about that life, I suggest you do something with your life, no matter what it is, and stay off the block. All right? And then one of the guys that was a shooter was the high school kid. I don't like to call no names. You can look it up. Played basketball for a high school. Was the number one student in his class in 12th grade. You know what I mean? Scored the highest SAT at the school. But on the flip side, he was the joker. You know what I mean? And condolences to his parents. They didn't know what he was doing. They had no clue from what we know and what we hear. But I feel like his mama knew something. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't want to believe. That's like all of our mothers, you know what I'm saying? They raise us, they bring us up, they kick our ass, they tell us what we can do, what we can't do, they buy us clothes, they provide for us. You know what I mean? They tell us when we wrong, tell us when we right. And they get so bad to the point we don't tell them the outside things we're doing outside of the house because we don't want to hear that shit. For real, for real. But every mother has an intuition about their son or their daughter. And every woman on this earth can testify for that. They really can. When something is wrong, they have a gut feeling. And some mothers, they'll question you, or they'll text you, or they'll say something, right? And they'll be like, "Are you okay? Don't go to that party. Why are you dressing like that? What are you listening to?" Because they have an intuition about you doing something wrong. So all you young men out there, okay? Your mother knows best. Your mother knows when you have a problem going on. And she gonna check down. She gonna make sure that she gonna let you know, your mother, you know what I mean, gonna let you know that something is wrong. Now it's up to you to decide what you want to do with that. Because your friends is not gonna tell you. No matter if you got good friends that don't want to be thugging out there, or you got those friends that really thugging and they just want to pull you along, especially if you're weak minded. And for you young men out there, you must understand that all your friends is not gonna be with you forever. Especially when you in middle school or you in high school, eventually y'all will separate or y'all will evaporate. Unless you plan on staying where you at in your community. But I suggest young men that after you graduate from high school, you really need to go do something else. Or go to another state, go to another doggone city, and come up with a solution of what you want to do with your life. And this goes out to all the men out there, young men, where your father is not in your life, or your mother's not in your life, and you're raised by your grandmother. You got to do something with your life, young men. Okay? How do I feel about Gilly and what happened to his son? Well, I have a son, but I can't control him. I can't tell him what to do. I can give him advice. But with my son, I actually try to be his friend now. He's about to turn 19 tomorrow. I try to be his friend so he can have somebody he can talk to. He can share some of his experiences with, and he can actually be like, "Hey, Dad, I'm about to do this. I'm about to do that. What do you think?" I think that's great parenting. I don't try to force my son into a situation where he can't come to me. Because when my father was living, he was really cool after I turned 16, but I still felt like I could not talk to him about the things that I was doing. And I feel like he had an ear to the streets. He knew what I was doing, but he never said anything back to me. And he wasn't the type of man to be like, "Hey man, I know you was drinking, I know you was smoking. You know what I'm saying? You better sit your ass down." And my dad was a preacher. So you think that would be hard for me, but it wasn't. Because before he was a preacher, he was out in the streets in his younger days. He witnessed some things that he never told me about. And it's funny how it blacked out, but I'm back. As a father, it's like the things that he went through, he didn't really talk to me about. And the things that I went through, I never talked to him about. But we always had a way of hanging out and doing things together and kind of laughing it off. You did. I don't know what happened to my screen, but I'm gonna keep on going. So with Gilly, I know it's hard for him because that was his main son, and they had a lot of similarities when it comes to growing up. And I also heard him say when he was younger, while his kids was young, he was on a grind because he wanted to get to his status where he's at now. You understand what I'm saying? He wanted to get to that situation where he was like, "Hey, once I get my money, my kids gonna be taken care of, my family gonna be taken care of, and everything's gonna work out." You gotta respect that. And do I feel like his son was out there doing stuff that he had no business doing? I mean, in all actuality, a young man is gonna do what he want to do anyway. So we can't discredit him for that. Nah, we can't do that. And I do feel bad that, he lost his son. I do feel bad that his son was in the wrong place in the wrong time at the wrong time. And let's talk about the other guy that got shot 17 times. I feel bad for him because you put all that work in playing basketball. You were already smart, and you chose the streets to decide your fate. You know what I mean? Let's give it up for that. So now, in retrospect, and then I did see something about, they were saying, oh, Gillie, I seen a couple of YouTube channels, they was like, oh, Gillie act like he don't care about the other dude, and, you know, he's not showing no compassion. I mean, what would you do if your son or your daughter got hurt or got killed? I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm like, hey man, that's what's up. Because at the end of the day, if I got something to do with it, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Something happened to my kids. Every father or mother, especially fathers, want to handle that business. You know what I'm saying? They want to be like, okay, oh, this what you're doing? All right, I'm gonna go hurt somebody in your family. And see, that's the thing. Back in the day, here's the thing. Back in the day, right? The difference between now and then. I know in the 90s, right? In the 90s, we didn't have camera phones. We didn't have cameras everywhere. The only way you could really be associated on the internet is you had to have dial-up. You know what I'm saying? You had the dial-up where it go and you had to wait till that motherfucker loaded up when it comes to computer and it comes to PC. So you literally had to wait 2 to 3 to 5 minutes for your shit to load up. And then when you get on there, you could go to AOL. I don't know if y'all remember that. Let's give it up for AOL. You had Yahoo Chat. You know what I'm saying? You go on Yahoo, had your little messenger. That's where the messenger came in. And then you would go to a chat room. Yes, sir. Do y'all remember that? And you literally could go in those chat rooms and you had the most disrespectful people in those chat rooms. You had dudes and women on there specifically with a webcam, or they would be on the talk live chat and they would talk the most ridiculous shit that you ever heard. Like mad shit. But you would never meet that person. You did not know their location. You did not know their address. Like literally, you wasn't gonna get in your car or catch a flight and go pull up somewhere. Now, in the chats, it might say this person is from West Virginia. It might say this person is from Miami, but you still could not go online and find out where that person stayed. And Facebook and all that wasn't popping yet. Now we did have MySpace. That right there is probably the closest thing that you could check to see where somebody live or where they at. But they could be faking it and saying they stay here, but they really don't stay there. So you see the difference, you know what I mean, in women compared to when we was coming up and where y'all at now. Yeah, you could talk all the shit in the world. You really couldn't make videos back then acting like you thugging and you doing this. So it was all an illusion. It was all a myth that you was somebody that you wasn't. You could be anybody you wanted to be on those platforms at that time, and that's not really you. But see, the difference now is visuals out there. Same concept. You have your, you know what I'm saying? You have your doggone live chats. You go on Instagram live. You know what I mean? You go on Facebook live, Messenger. You can go on Twitter or X. And you can create the same thing that we created back then and get your ass in trouble. And that's the truth. Yeah. Now it's all visuals. You can actually see what that person look like. You can actually see where they stay. You can actually find out where they from. You can literally go on somebody live and say, "Oh, this is where they stay. All right, let me go to that city. I'm gonna pull up." That's why you gotta be careful what you say on the internet, young men and young women, because it will catch up to you. And I also want to state that in the '90s and the early 2000s, like I said, we didn't have the communication to check on somebody and find out where they spot or their location. So the only beef that you really had with somebody was somebody down the street, your neighbors, somebody from your school, or when you went to the club. Let's get that up. Yeah, you ain't have a problem with somebody that stayed in California. You might be in that chat line or on that messenger and say, "Hey, fuck you. I don't like you. Yeah, man, I'm about that life. Gang, gang, all that." But you would never meet that person, and you would never ever see that person in your life. The only time you'll see that person, or you feel that person, is when you go on your chat or when you go on your messenger. And and Gilly is right. He is absolute 100% right when it comes to men and young boys getting mad at each other. It ain't no competition thing when it comes to them against them. It's all about the young girls and the young women in the world. That's what all the beef is about. Let's give it up for that. Even back in my time, right? Back in my time, we would beef over women. You have that beautiful young lady that everybody want, and all the guys want to talk to that girl, and they gonna do whatever it takes to knock you off the map. But the difference is, when I was coming up, nobody wanted to kill each other. Everybody just wanted to throw those hands. You know what I mean? And make the best man win. And then either y'all gonna make up or y'all not gonna fuck with each other no more. But when Menace to Society came out, who remember that? Menace to Society, let's give it up. When NWA, Menace to Society came out, um, Boys in the Hood, and I can go on and on. That's when all the violence really started, when those movies came out in my era. And then it just kind of trickled down or trickled up to where we at now. You don't have to watch those movies. They don't have to make movies like that no more. You know why? Because we got YouTube. You dig? You can actually see the real and the fake on YouTube. You can see it live on Instagram. You know what I'm saying? All the other platforms, you can actually see people in real time doing this shit. So they don't have to make movies no more, right? Literally. But it started right there. And then we start acting like those movies. And then it trickled down to our kids. And now they can actually do it in real time. And this is where we're headed to, and this is where we're going with this. That's the difference between now and then. Imagine in my generation if we had all the technology that y'all got, y'all young men and women got now. Man, all of us would probably be damn dead. Most of y'all motherfuckers wouldn't even be here. That's the damn truth. Y'all wouldn't even exist. Because we'll be done wiped each other. All of us will be done wiped. We'll be done took us, every last one of us be done took each other out, man. Just thinking about it, you know what I'm saying? Cheer me up, man. Give me goosebumps. That we was fortunate not to have all that technology when it comes to Generation X. And now, y'all have it. and y'all don't want to spin the block. Y'all want to say, hey, I'm this, I'm that. And note this, young men out here, all right? Just because you see not the guys your age, but you see these celebrities and you see these rappers rap about they block and rap about what they doing, maybe it's true that they did do that, all right? Maybe they did do that in their time and they made it out. But at this present time, fellas, they not doing none of that stuff. They might have, hitters, shooters, gunners underneath them that's out there still doing it. And they just trying to send a message to protect themselves. And you gotta remember, these top young celebrities, they have security, most of them. They have an entourage of people. They are protected, but they also in the business. You dig? Like they legitimately run a business. The ones, young men and women out there now, y'all ain't doing that shit. Y'all really trying to prove something. And it's so funny. Most of y'all young men and women, y'all want to do this stuff and act crazy and go crazy with it. But as soon as shit get real, you won't be here no more. You won't exist. And you can't stop the madness when you in that heat of moment and you in that position. So you gotta ask yourself, young men, young women, do I really want to do this? And most of y'all do it because if y'all do survive and make it, you want to be able to tell your story through rapping. It definitely ain't no damn singing. You want to make a name for yourself. I do have a suggestion though. If you really want to do something like that and you want to make a name for yourself, be an actor or an actress. Go to school for drama. If you're in high school, go to school for drama. You know what I mean? And you can be in movies. You can sell tickets that way and don't get in no trouble. Facts. And I'm not here to tell or tear y'all young men and women down, man. I love y'all and I care about y'all. And if any one of y'all ever want to talk to me about anything, you can email me at Anakin9.5beats, gmail.com. You can go to my platforms and I would be more than happy to talk to you about anything, okay? I promise. I will talk to you. I'll message you back because it's not safe out here. And life ain't fair. And you all deserve more. There are so many ways you can make money without doing those crazy things out there. Now, don't get me wrong, for the thugs and the hustlers out there that's really out there banging and really doing it, they don't want to be nothing in life. Or they want to be what they want to be. They really want to do that. And they comfortable with it. And they know it's gonna be two ways. It's gonna be two ways. It's gonna either be in prison, jail, which is the same thing, or they're gonna die. But they already know that's gonna happen. So really, it doesn't matter to them. But if you didn't grow up that way, and you didn't come up that way, guess what? Don't do it. And listen, man, if you don't have any friends and you trying to fit in, you know who are the strongest people out there? These young men and women are people that don't have nobody in their existence that can influence them. Like they cool with being a loner. They cool with being an introvert. I think people that's loners or an introvert, they're the most critical thinking people in the world. They're geniuses. People that's alone and introverts and don't need friends and don't need no assessment to what somebody says about them. So y'all young men and women out there, man, you got to keep it a buck. You got to ask yourself, hey, listen, is this worth this? And you don't have no business being out here with people that young men that don't want to do nothing to be nothing in life. Let them do what they want to do. That's their style. That's the way they move. That's the way they create. That's how they grew up. And some of them do making out rapping. Some of them do making out after they get shot up, or you know what I'm saying, they get hurt and they survive that first incident. Some of them do get their own clothing line, or open up a gas station. I mean, not like a car wash or something, but it take them a while. They have to go through at least 10 years of that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And then say, hey, man, I don't want to live this life no more. And then most of the gangbangers and all the guys that and girls that go through that shit, they have kids, and then that might break them down. They might say, oh, you know what? I got a kid now, man. I can't do this no more. It's so many obstacles and ways you go through when you live in that lifestyle. But if you got a mom and you got a dad, right? And your mom and your dad is in your life, and you want to go out here and start thugging, that's not the answer. I'm telling you. And it's dedicated to the young men and women out there. It's not safe out here. You better rethink your life. Because when somebody come up in your face and be like, you know what time it is? Half of y'all that's not out there thugging and banging, not going to know what to do. And all somebody going to do is just pour a little liquor out for you and say, you know what, he was a good guy. I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he was hanging with us, man. But he was the coolest dude in the group. While they still out here thugging and doing what they doing, you resting in peace. Your family upset. They scratching their head like, I don't know what happened. What, why? Oh, he was doing this, he was doing that? Nah, man. Nah, it's too easy out here. You can go on TikTok. You can make money doing a whole lot of different things, man. So the young men and women out here, your self-conscious is going to tell you what's going on. Your self-conscious is going to be like, hey, man, don't do that. Don't do this. You got to listen to your gut feeling. And when it comes to men my age in their 40s and women in their 40s, it's basically our fault. It's our fault these young kids is going through what they're going through. Especially the ones where their mom and fathers at my age didn't love them. It's like it's just trickling down, man. It's trickling down. So for the people that's my age, over 40, I know all of us as a whole, we say you can't talk to them young people, man. They don't listen. But guess what? We didn't listen either. So we have to ask ourselves as Generation X, how can we change that? Well, we don't have to talk to each other when it comes to grown people over 40. We don't got to, you know what I'm saying? But it's good that we do all communicate. But at least communicate to these young kids. And it's about how you say it. You have to get their attention first. You don't have to just come at them and say, hey, man, don't be doing that. You know what's going to happen to you. You're going to die. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we have to educate them by saying, hey, you know, back in the day, man, I was rolling with the 60s and I was doing this and doing that. And I survived. Or I seen my dead homie, he got shot when I was 16. Or, you know, explain to them. Don't just tell them. Explain to the young youth and generation what it's really about and the difference, the breakdown of how it was back then and how it is now. You know, if you got a son or daughter, man, take the time out to take them out to eat. And just don't take them out to eat because you want to feed them or you just trying to prove something. Take them out to eat. If you got the bread, let them get what they want. And don't talk at them. Talk to them. You know what I mean? And do it. It's a routine. Like, do it more than one time. I know people my age or a little bit younger, a little bit older. We work a lot and we got a lot of stuff going on. But if you care about your kids, okay, you got to take the time out to talk to them and not talk at them. You really must, you have to do that. And I can give you an example. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I got daughters and I got sons. I don't mind them cursing around me. as long as they don't curse at me. Because I want them to feel comfortable with me, not with their friends and people that they really don't know when the shit go down. And I'm not saying you gotta be their friend. I'm saying you have to make your kids comfortable to come to you. You know what I mean? I'll take them out to eat. My son, oh, you want a steak? Yeah, bro, get what you want. All right, my daughter, oh, you want some shrimp? All right, get what you want. And then we'll just talk about life. You know what I'm saying? And then once I get them to a situation where we could really talk about how they are and what they got going on, right? They'll be like, all right, cool. Yeah, dad, yeah, mom. Yeah, I did this and I did that. And I'm like, oh shit. And then I'll be like, well, how you got out of that situation? Oh, well, I did this and that. And then you relate to them and say, you know what? I was in that situation too, man. I had to do this, do that. And then your kids can feel comfortable with you. You know what I'm saying? They can feel comfortable and say, oh, I could talk to my mom about this. I could talk to my dad about that. And that's what you want. But in conclusion, to all the young men and women out there, man, let's keep it a buck. I just want you to think about your life. I want you to think about the consequences and repercussions if you're in a situation that you can't get yourself out of. If you are that lonely and you feel like nobody, I hear a lot of kids say, oh, I don't have any friends. Nobody wants to talk to me. And you just want to have low self-esteem and you just want to fit in. Listen, man, somebody out there loves you. Somebody out there that cares about you, your friends. Sometimes young men and women, you have to isolate yourself. You have to do like grown people, you know what I'm saying? That's older. Sometimes you have to take a step back. You did. Take a step back and isolate yourself. I'm not saying you got to read a book, but I'm cool with you playing video games. You did. Yeah. Yeah. Find something that you like to do that don't concern everybody else, like making beats. I love seeing these young people out here making beats on their computers and have their little studio. You know what? People like that, it keep them out of a lot of trouble. Play sports. If your mom and dad don't support you in that, you know what I'm saying? Go live with somebody else. You did. You know how many celebrities and entertainers and sports people like play basketball, football, that end up leaving their parents' house and went to go stay with somebody else so they could be successful. If you're not happy where you at when it comes to your family and where you stay, man, you can go be with somebody else. You can isolate yourself from your parents. There's somebody out there that'll pick you up and take care of you. You don't have to stay where you at. All you gotta do is tell your mom or your dad or whoever you with, hey man, I'm not happy here. I don't want to stay here. And then, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying run away, but at least have a game plan and don't just go to the streets. You did. Yeah, just be like, hey, listen, I don't want to deal with this no more. I really just need to get away. Go talk to somebody. I'm not saying tell on nobody, but go talk to somebody. Or just simply get on YouTube or get on Instagram or get on Facebook. You can have your own platform and just go in there and type it on Facebook and say, hey, look, I'm not happy where I'm at. Can somebody please help me? Instead of just talking to your friend that's not gonna give a shit about you. And if something happened to you, you know what I'm saying, it's over with. You know what I mean? Yeah, you gotta reach out and touch someone. Yeah, did. But yeah, to all the young men and women out there, man, and to the parents, I want you to know that we all collectively have to help each other bring these kids back. Now, for the ones that's very successful and that made it through, kudos. I oblige you. I'm happy for you. It's all love and respect. But for the kids out there that don't know and don't have no direction, there is somebody like me or other people that you can at least talk to. I'm not saying going online and go to a specific private thing and say how you feel. There are people out here that will listen to you. There are people my age or older that can help you, that will go out their way to make sure you go in the right direction. Now, if you choose not to do that, then I must tell you, you're gonna go where you don't really want to go, and it's not gonna end up good. And that's easy to say, but it's hard to do. Because I'm telling you, most of you guys out there with y'all friends, I feel like this. If you do see one of your friends get shot or get killed, that really right there is a message. It's saying that you're in the wrong place at the wrong time. It's saying that you need to refocus on another game plan. It's a warning saying that you could be next. So really pay attention to the signs, okay? And that's just being respectful. I love y'all. I care about y'all. Thanks for coming to the morning show. I will have some more lives next week. I have 3 in the morning, as usual. It's going to be 3 from Monday through Friday. I'll post it up the night before, so you will know when it's game time. All right? Make sure you go to my playlist and go to my podcast. It says podcast, Anakin 9.5 Beats the Show podcast. Make sure you go to that and go to my other playlists, like previews of the shows that I've done on podcasts. I have a live playlist where you can go to all my live playlists. They will get better across the board. I have an Anakin 9.5 Beats tutorial where I'm making beats. You can go to that. And I just thank God, and I'm just blessed to be here. And I wouldn't ask for anything more. I got a new situation that I got going on this evening. You know what I mean? I'm excited about that. And I just wish myself the best. Shout out to my mom to be like, hey, look, man, I know you're going through the struggle. I know you're going through hardships and pain. But at the same time, I'm glad that everything's working out for you. And it's God's plan. And you know what I'm saying? Be faithful, stay humble, and everything's going to work out for you. And that's what people need these days. When you're going through something, it's always good to have somebody that you know that truly care about you, that's going to ride for you when times are hard, and it feels so much better when the times are good. And that's a fact. May God bless you. May God keep you. And I'll see you next week. Same time, same back channel. This weekend I'll probably drop a couple of, shorts like I always do to motivate you. Our current events. Let's get it, man. Love y'all. Phantom. We in here. I ain't taking them short. Yes, sir. Fuck all y'all. Had to do it. 485, call me Smokey the Bandit. Switching serving lanes through the trenches, gamble man. Haters wanna hate, phantom calls collateral damage. Fade away, just I had to catch me in the rain. 485, call me Smokey the Bandit. Switching serving lanes through the trenches, gamble man. Haters wanna hate, phantom calls collateral damage. Fade away, just I had to catch me in the rain. Smoky, 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 bandit, smoky, 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 bandit, smoky, 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 bandit, smoky, 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 bandit, 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 burn one. Tupac got killed and I'm rolling up a Swisher. X got flipped like a barber with some clippers. No ice cream, you can call me Big Flipper. Come on. Never like Ray Jones and I'm ballin' like Chipper. Dipper, I quitter. You too blind to see, I just made 6 figures. Back won't pass the train, so I'm slicing them up like scissors. I don't need no team, but we taking off shoot missiles. UTE be the breed, rocking out with 6 pistols. Blowing whistles. You haters mad. Blow the whistle. You haters mad. Now blow the whistle. White cheese. I miss you. 485, call me Smokey the Bandit. Switching serving lanes through the trenches, never bandit. Haters wanna hate, phantom calling collateral damage. Fade away, just I had to get in the ram. 485, call me Smokey the Bandit. Switching serving lanes through the trenches, never bandit. Haters wanna hate, phantom call me collateral damage. Fade away, just I had to get in the ram. Smoky, 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 bandit. Smoky, 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 bandit. Smoky.